The views expressed on the Warren and Bradley Show are not necessarily those held by the hosts, Warren and Bradley, nor those of the proprietors of the website, warrenandbradley.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Let's make some magic.
It is magic time. Hello, and welcome once again to the Warren and Bradley Show. I am one of your hosts, Bradley Victor.
I'm the other host, Warren Van.
Episode 67 of the Warren and Bradley Show, coming at you from daylight savings time.
Ooh,
Oh,
the
God.
future.
Didn't we, last time we sprang or fell back, I was bitching about daylight savings, and I've had the same thing today. It caught me unaware, well, kind of unaware, because I was actually awake when it happened, and I got to have that horrible sinking feeling of seeing my phone go from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. I was in a situation that was kind of interminable, and I knew that it was probably go on for even longer, and so I was imagining having to stay up till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was really depressing.
That's a bummer.
And I just wish we would get rid of the stupid daylight savings thing.
I was sleeping, and I was in a pretty deep sleep, and I woke up and looked at the time, and I was like, what?
So you had some sort of weird mental...
I was like, I slept that
wait a
late?
minute. It's an hour later, and you woke up.
And then I woke up, and I was thinking about it, and then it occurred to me what happened.
No.
It took me like 10 seconds to figure it out, though.
Well, then it fucked me up this morning, because even though my phone automatically switches, and pretty much everything that I look at to tell the time automatically switches, I still have my old 70s wood-grained alarm clock on my bedside table. So I woke up this morning at one point, and I looked, it was like 9 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock according to my clock radio. It was actually 10 o'clock, but I didn't realize that I hadn't switched the radio, and so then I was like, oh, I've only had 4 hours of sleep, so I'm going to let myself go back to bed. Whereas I actually had 5 hours of sleep, which is enough, and I could have just gotten up then.
But you were still tired?
Well, I could sleep, you know.
Well, if you're still tired, you should just go back to sleep.
Yeah, but then I woke up at like noon by my clock radio, which meant that it was 1 in real life, and it just fucked up my entire day. I didn't get to go have my bagel.
Oh, man.
I probably would have had a street freak encounter.
Well,
but
what are we going to talk about in this podcast? You should just talk about you getting a bagel. That's usually half of the content of the podcast.
That's the only thing that happens in my life.
Yeah.
I go to work during the day, and nothing really happens at work because I'm working alone most of the time, other than me just being miserable and getting rained on and things like that. But the only socialization I have, the only interaction with other human beings occurs when I go downtown and go and get a bagel and then stand on the street corner afterwards.
It reminds me of like shut-ins or like elderly people that live in a nursing home that they get in a van and they take them to the grocery store like once a week, and that's like their big trip. Yeah, it's their big trip for the entire week, and they get to socialize with their friends with dementia on this bus, and they get off and they wander around and they try to herd them back into this bus to take them back. It's like, wow, what a time that is, you know? And if you don't get that, it's very depressing.
And it is funny how that is true. It's like I've been institutionalized, and just a little trip to go get a bagel to me is a big event. It's something to do, you know?
Yeah.
I get to see other people. I get to maybe interact with them. I mean, it's usually disturbing when I interact with them, but
you could have a bad interaction with a small child and get yelled at by its parent. Yeah.
But it's still something. It's something more than what I have now.
Oh boy, this is too bad.
I had an awkward interaction the other day though, because leaving my building, going out into the parking lot in the back, there was a guy who I recognized from around the building, but I had never spoken to him or anything. He was getting out of his car with all these paper bags, like grocery bags, but I think they were from like a Walgreens or something like that. And as he got out, something fell out of one of his bags, and he didn't notice it.
Yeah.
And he went inside, and he was coming in the door just as I was going out, and I was like going to say something, but then I just went out and looked at what the thing was that dropped out of the grocery bag. Yeah. And he had already gone in by this point. It's a bottle that says Balls Balm on it.
Oh.
It's like Balls Balm. What is this? This is like balm for your balls? What's
I know about butt paste. I don't know about balls balm.
You'll have to tell me about butt paste in a minute. So I look at the back of it, and it's a depilatory cream for your balls.
This seems perfect for you. It's like It's like God speaking to you. You don't have to risk putting a razor down there anymore. You can just start rubbing that on your balls.
I thought you couldn't do that on your balls. Like, you couldn't put Nair or anything down there because it would burn them off or something. But apparently this is the soothing, cool...
Why do you... Well, I think that's why it's probably designed especially for that ball skin.
I don't know. As I know, a lot of men do the manscaping thing, and we've talked about this before, and even I was saying that I had shaved my testicles once and found it amusing.
You did say that, yeah.
But the idea of, like, specifically manufacturing a product, there's obviously enough of a customer base of men who like smooth scrotums that they have actually formulated a specifically non-irritating solution for you to put on your testicles.
Oh, it's the triumph of capitalism. Yeah. People see a niche in the market and they go right for it. How old was this guy?
I don't know.
So you're telling the story about him walking around with these bags. I pictured an old man with glasses, but then you mentioned this, like...
No, he's probably in his late 20s, early 30s or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I hope so.
He didn't look like a bare balls kind of guy.
Well, it's creepier. It's creepier if it's an older man.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, you don't want to see like a 52-year-old with clean testicles because they shouldn't be in rotation enough that he would need to keep them clean.
He's so worried about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something disturbing about that.
But this guy just looked like he doesn't look like the kind of guy who would clean his testicles of hair. Or
what does that guy look like to you? Does he have like a popped collar and like spiky hair?
Well, I mean, I guess I did it once too, but so maybe he looks like me. But yeah, he would look like kind of the guy who has the very carefully trimmed sideburns and maybe like a little tiny thin beard that goes around and like the little goatee. His eyebrows have been waxed. You know, he's the kind of guy who takes too much care.
And his car is really important to him.
Yeah.
He really takes really good care of it. Yeah.
And he likes a smooth scrotum, and so do the women apparently.
So this guy just looked more like a normal guy?
Yeah, he's the kind of guy that wears like North Face fleeces and things like that.
That's a normal guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd think if he's wearing a fleece on his torso, he would want a fleece on his testicles.
I guess we've gotten to the point with the manscaping that it's like the normals are doing it now, right?
I guess.
It's conventional to do it. And it's going to get to the point where people that aren't removing the hair from their balls, people are going to be like, what's your deal? What are you doing?
Yeah, what the fuck is your problem? As a woman... Well, if I were a woman, I don't want to say
as a woman.
Yeah.
That's a weird way to start a sentence.
I have another conversation that we are going to need to have after the show. If I were a woman and I was, rooting around down there, I think I'd prefer nice smooth balls to the hairy, like weird, because the balls are disgusting.
Well, this is the thing, though. If you were a woman, are you rooting around with the balls?
Don't they? My balls have been rooted around with before. I mean, they're not.
I'll say that mine have too, but I don't. It's not like the most common. Is it that common?
Well, it's not like they're just focusing solely on the balls, but they're always kind of peripheral to what's going on. Also,
well, I mean, just because they're in proximity.
Yeah. I wonder if there are any women who just have this complete ball fetish, and that's all they want to deal with. So they're like two little pendulums, or like that office toy that people have on their desks where you go. And it knocks the other one and knocks back.
Yeah. I don't like having my balls like manipulated.
I wouldn't like them, wrenched around.
No, I don't like them wrenched around. I don't think I really like them like handled or anything. It just feels weird.
Why?
It's a sensation that's just like not comfortable. It feels like something that's not supposed to be handled. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like your penis is something that it does something. You know what I mean? It gets into the action and it feels more normal.
Yeah.
The balls do something, but the thing they do is an internal action.
The external male genitalia. It's fucking weird if you think about it. I mean, I have had them my whole life. I'm used to looking down there and seeing this thing.
Not for long, apparently.
But if I had no context whatsoever and just saw this thing, it's like, what the fuck is this? It's growing. It's like changing size. It's flipping around all over the place. It's like the weird chicken skin on the butt. It's the weirdest thing in the entire world.
It's a non-design.
It's disturbing.
That's evolution for you, though.
Yeah.
For some reason.
I don't know. There's some mammals who have everything kind of tucked up in there.
Yeah.
You've got little Bombay doors that open and it comes out.
Yeah, but I think, so we must have just, the way we were living, when we were running around the savannah, it must not have mattered. They must not have been getting caught in things too often.
Well, you've played sports before.
Yes.
Did you ever wear a cup or a jock strap?
Well, at one point
like
during a basketball tournament during the summer, I went up for a rebound and came down on some guy's hip, right on the hip bone, and put all the pressure onto my balls.
Yeah.
and I was like out for a long time and hunched over. And then after that, I actually wore a cup when I played basketball, which is very unusual. People don't usually do that, but I just didn't want that to happen again.
So that's you. You're engaged in a strenuous physical activity, and things are jangling around there. They're shifting, they're juking, they're going all over the place. If you were some early human running around in the savannah, running down like a Thompson's gazelle or something for hours and hours and hours, and also with the heat, you would imagine things are hanging pretty low, and they've got to be just flipping and flopping all over the place. So do you think early humans fashioned some sort of rattan strap that they would tie their balls down with, maybe around their waist, or some sort of loincloth thing?
Some of those like primitive tribes, that's the one thing they're wearing is something down there.
In New Guinea, but they make it even worse, because sometimes they'll put the beak of a bird on their testicles or on their penis. Yeah. So then that's flopping around all over the place.
Anthropology talk here. Yeah. Or here's an idea. Maybe, you know how we have like the birds of paradise or something do some sort of dance that attract, maybe the fact that the genitals on the outside and we're running around naked,
flipping and flopping
around is something that's like,
a woman sees that and she's just immediately,
that's a male, I'm going to go get on with that male. I mean,
well, okay, so this is something that maybe we should bring into the modern time. If you see a woman, you're attracted to her, what you do is you just take your penis out of your pants. Don't take your pants down entirely.
Yeah.
What you can do is unzip and then use that access hatch in the front of the underwear.
Yeah.
Pull it out and then do the helicopter.
Well, this is what I'm going to say about flashers.
Yeah.
Maybe flashers, that's like some atavistic thing that we're losing over thousands of years, but maybe that used to be
our society is progressed to the point where we're like, oh, that's disturbing now. But 10,000 years ago, there were just
male presented.
Men were just standing around, and juking their hips back and forth. Hey.
Look at me.
Just and women would be like, okay.
That one's impressive. I'll go with that one. That one's not so impressive. I'll go with that one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the craziest idea.
It makes sense.
Any scientists listening, please let us know if there's any validity to this theory.
Okay, Warren, it's time to put on our nerdlinger hats here.
Oh, good.
We're going to be talking to the geeks a little bit. Hopefully this doesn't alienate our core audience, but I think most of our core audience
hardcore bro, ball-shaven dudes.
Yeah. If you don't care about video games at all, then just don't turn off the podcast, but just, I don't know, go to a certain special place in your mind while we're talking about
Of course, in general, I don't care about video games. But of all non-sports video games, this is the only video game I'm interested in.
Well, I guess we should mention the video game we're talking about. Recently, I was very excited because the brand new SimCity game was coming out. And this is the first major release in the series for SimCity since, I believe, 2003 was SimCity 4. And it's the kind of series that, even if you're not a gamer, which I'm not really, there are certain major games that I'll buy and I'll play, but then I don't play video games every day or even every week or every month. Even you have made an effort throughout your life to play the SimCity series, and you don't play video games
as
really
children, I recall you and I and some of our other friends would often like have sleepovers and we just play this frickin' game, the original version, for hours and hours and hours together, like as a team,
terraforming our little island and everything,
building our weird little city.
It was a great series. And so several months back, when the announcements were being made, the new SimCity is going to be coming out, I was very excited because, like I said, I don't play video games a lot, but this is the game that I would buy and I would play. So I pre-ordered it months ago because I had seen previews like, it looks great. The graphics, they have a new simulation engine, the Glassbox engine, which actually simulates everything from the bottom up. So every little person, every little car, every little thing is part of the simulation. It's amazing. So anyway, as I started reading these previews and kind of consuming all the little videos I could find and getting more and more hyped up about it, I started noticing these articles where people were getting worried about the fact that Electronic Arts, the publisher behind the SimCity franchise, had decided that they were going to make the game always online. Ostensibly, they said it was because it had these multiplayer components that were integral to the experience of the game. To anyone who'd played SimCity in the past, they'd always been single-player games. And so this sounded kind of weird. And then the more cynical were like, this is just a way of doing DRM, digital rights management.
Yeah. It's a way to control the intellectual property.
It's a way to control the intellectual property. So I was a little skeptical about this. I started reading other articles. Why does this game need to be online all the time? This is a very extreme version of DRM. People were worried that because it had to be online all the time, the servers for Electronic Arts wouldn't be able to hold up to all the traffic they were going to have. But I was like, I'm going to get this game. I'm going to love this game.
Well, that's the other thing about the game. You talked about it, bottom-up type game.
Yeah.
The previous versions, it is very complicated.
Yeah.
And it taxes the resource of computers to run this game because you build a city and the city gets larger and larger and larger, and the things that are being simulated increase, and it's a very taxing thing as far as like processing power.
Right. So I got the game on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I was very excited. Mm-hmm. When you're looking forward to something like this, it's the first day is the most important day.
Yeah.
Because you get the game, you're excited, you look through. I actually like getting a physical copy because I want to own something. I don't want to just download it. Didn't have time to play it much at first, but I was able to get on the server, and I was like, okay, this is fun. I'm playing the game. This is exciting. I played it for like an hour and a half or something, and then I had other things I had to do that day. I got a text from our good friend, IT guy John.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the deal with this game? What's going on with this game?
Uh-oh.
Like, well, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And he's saying that he can't get on the game. He can't play the game. He gets booted off the servers constantly. The server lines are completely full. It's impossible to even get on any server ever. And if you do get on a server, you'll get booted off. I'm like, well, I haven't experienced any of this. Go the next day when I try to play. Can't get on the game.
Yeah.
Can't get on the game. Get on for a little bit of the game. Get booted off the game. Lose all the progress I made in the game.
Oh, that's frustrating.
Oh, that's very frustrating. For basically 6 days after the launch of this game, it was unplayable. It was impossible for people to enjoy this game.
Ooh, that's a failure.
This is a major product launch in a long-standing series with a huge base of users who were crazily looking forward to this game. They should have known that there would be millions and millions of people accessing this server. They should have been prepared for these servers, or for this many people to access these servers. They should never have put an always online requirement to begin with.
Yeah.
Because what happens when you do it this way? Okay, so you have a DRM scheme where you always have to be online so they can always know that whoever is playing the game has a right to access this game. When nobody can get on the game, the people who actually paid the money for the game, who wanted to give you their money, you're alienating those people. Your biggest fans, the people who buy the game on the first day, the people who are most likely to write internet posts about the game, people who are most likely to share it on Facebook, tell other friends, word of mouth, we love this game, play this game. You're alienating those people completely, and all you're doing is pushing them to a pirated version of the game. Because if you can't play the one that is required to be on the EA servers, you will go look for a cracked version of it that somebody has already made that you can get and not have to worry about being online all the time. So how much piracy are you preventing? You're pissing off your core audience, and if you buy a product and it doesn't work, that's bad.
Yeah.
And they were refusing to give refunds to people. That's even worse.
Yeah.
So you buy our game, you can't play our game, we're not going to give you your money back. It's ridiculous that they would do something like this. And the other thing that worries me about this trend is this game only works as long as EA has servers up for this game.
Yeah.
So a couple years down the road, if EA decides that they don't want to have the servers in use anymore, the game is unplayable.
Yeah.
So am I buying this game or am I renting this game?
You're definitely renting the game.
It's really creepy to me. And the other thing they did was they actually started stripping features out of the game that were more taxing to their servers.
Oh, jeez.
People are pissed. Like, you should see the vitriol. Amazon.com actually took the game off because they had over 3,000 one-star reviews where people were just freaking out. And so they took the digital download version of the game off. They wouldn't sell it anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's back on now, but they still have a big warning saying that there are connectivity issues. When does greed and when does customer loyalty matter? When does trying to placate your customers and make sure your customers don't hate you?
Okay, I'm no computer scientist. I'm no IT guy, John. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to do this and you wanted to protect intellectual property by validating that you're connected to someone who actually paid for the game,
right?
Isn't there something like less?
In the past, most games would have you log in once.
Yeah, well, log in once, or even like if you had a connection to the internet that told EA that you were playing the game on a device that had been authenticated and you were the authenticated player of that game,
right?
Wouldn't that take up less servers and stuff?
It's just them trying to thwart piracy, but what they're doing is alienating all the people who would actually drive sales of the game to begin with. It was a disaster, a huge PR disaster. I don't know if anyone's going to learn anything from this. I'm sure all our audience is completely bored out of their minds right now. But from what I played of the game, it was great. I just could hardly play the game.
I haven't seen IT guy John much this weekend.
Yeah, he's disappeared.
I was watching basketball yesterday, and he came downstairs, and I think he was going to the bathroom, and he popped in, and he said, you know, that SimCity game's out. And I was like, oh, yeah? And he's like, it's great. And he said, oh, yeah, it's really fun. And then I never saw him again. I think he stayed up very late the other night, just playing the game all night.
I probably would have done that if it had actually worked, but I'm sure things will quiet down a little bit, and I'll end up playing the game.
Well, you paid for the game. So.
I paid for the game. The other thing about this is that if this always online requirement is something that's going to exist always in the future, then people who travel can never play a game again. People who are in the military can never play a game again. People who, if your internet goes out, that's when you want to play video games, is when you're not connected to the internet. Because when you're on the internet, you can download porn, you can stream movies, you can do whatever you want. When you have no internet, you're like, oh, I'll play my game for a while. No, you can't play your game.
As you know, I'm a semi sort of Luddite. And, I don't like this element in anything, unless it's completely necessary.
If it is integral to the experience of the game, then yes.
If you're like running around shooting at people in World War II on your game, and you're playing with other people that are in other parts of the country, that's important. The other things to be linked to the internet for is to communicate with other people, or to like research things and find out about other things.
Right.
Just being connected for the sake of being connected and being forced to be connected is a big turnoff.
Well, and I think that's what pisses off the fans too, is because instead of just blatantly saying, yes, this is our version of DRM to make sure people can't pirate this game, they try to claim that it's a feature. But it's not a feature. It's just been shoehorned into the game, and it's a very cynical way of trying to... it's ridiculous. So... Let's put an end to always online DRM schemes, people. Let's get... I actually signed a petition at change.org. Or was it change.org? I can't remember what... It's the famous...
Is that the anti-Bush website?
Oh, yeah, maybe that's the anti-Bush... What petition was I signing? No, there was some internet petition going around calling for the end of always online DRM, and there's like... When I signed it, there were about 20,000 signatures. I think it's well over 50,000 signatures now, so...
Oh, they're going to march.
Oh, yeah.
The nerds will march.
Does anyone care about this other than
I don't know.
An IT guy, John?
I mean, the point of the show is just to have us ramble. So people will just listen to us ramble.
We're definitely doing that.
Celebrity Minute on the Warren and Bradley Show.
Well, I think we'll start right off with a Justin Bieber story. Several Justin Bieber stories have been in the news this week. His birthday week has just kept getting worse and worse and worse. He fainted on stage at one point. He was experiencing shortness of breath. He actually posted a picture of him in the hospital, shirtless, of course, again, reclining on the bed, waving at his fans. I don't know what all these collapsing celebrities all the time. They're always exhausted. I'm assuming it's because he's huffing glue or sucking down more sizzurp or something. I don't know what's going on.
It's not work related. It has to do with the lifestyle.
I mean, I'm sure he's a pretty active entertainer. He's jumping around, prancing about, and singing. But at the same time,
about prancing around and jumping around and stuff.
Yeah,
not for 8 hours. He's prancing around for an hour.
Maybe 45 minutes.
And he gets plenty of fluids, and then he goes,
Yeah, he shouldn't be collapsing everywhere. So who knows what made him pass out. But he also had a confrontation with some paparazzi in London. This is from Entertainment Tonight. Justin Bieber was caught on tape getting into an expletive-laden verbal altercation with paparazzi in London on Thursday, but reached out to his fans to say he'll be channeling his adrenaline on stage during a planned performance Friday night. After being baited by insult-hurling photographers outside his hotel in London, the 19-year-old pop star responded with his own expletive-filled rant and lunged toward the paparazzi before being restrained by his security personnel. We have the video here. We'll play the audio from it and post the video on WarrenandBradley.com.
Give us some space, guys. We gotta come right here.
Okay. Easy, Josh. Easy. That's assault.
Yeah, but you're in our way.
No, I moved out the way.
You did it. We had to walk move out the way, man.
I was out the way.
You gotta move out the way.
Fucking little cock. Fuck off back to America. Fucking little moron.
What did you say?
You heard what I said, man?
What did you say?
You heard what I said. Lose your fucking belt. Lose your fucking belt. Lose your fucking belt.
Get the fuck back.
I'm back, you prick.
Get back.
I'm back, you prick.
Back.
All right? That's all I'm coming. Fucking little cock. What are you doing?
Okay, so basically we see a scene. There's a SUV waiting for Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber is ushered out of a building with his bodyguards juking and jiving as he's like dodging through the paparazzi.
He's like hunched over, like using him as like a lead blocker.
One of the paparazzi dudes gets pushed out of the way, and he's like, "That's assault, you!" And Justin Bieber gets into the SUV, and the door is closed. And his big bald bouncers.
The security
guy
guy is like happy. He's like, "I got him in. We can move on."
But then the paparazzi says, "Fuck you, little punk! Fuck the United States of America!" And Bieber, from within the car, decides he's going to jump out.
Like, what the fuck did you say? Fuck you! I'll beat the fucking shit out of you!
Starts screaming at the guy. And his security personnel restrain him and push him back in the car or whatever.
Again, the security personnel, just guys doing their job, taking care of business. Bieber, a little putz that happened to win the lottery of life, and this like asshole photographer have their little confrontation.
Yeah, I like to make fun of Justin Bieber. I think everyone knows that. I don't necessarily... I would be pissed at paparazzi too, I guess, if they're being such dicks. Obviously, he's surrounded by giant bodyguards, so he can mouth off to whoever he wants, and there's nothing that he wants to do. What's the point, right?
He's like lunged at him like, I'm going to fight you. This is the thing about that situation. We didn't get a good look at the paparazzi.
No.
He would have been able to beat up Justin Bieber.
I'm sure he could have.
Most like teenage girls.
From the sound of his voice, he sounded like some giant shaven-headed Cockney dude who was just going to beat the crap out of him.
So Bieber's like really tough as long as he, of course, has his former Mossad security guards with him.
I don't know. I'm going to give him a pass on this one. I can understand the impetus behind his actions. They're not smart.
What are you talking about? Because he's something about America?
No.
That little bitch is Canadian.
I don't know. People act like dicks on purpose to try to elicit a response.
Well, then you don't give him a response.
You shouldn't. But he's 19, I don't know. If I were 19...
He should know better.
Maybe.
He wanted to look cool, I think, is what he's trying to do.
He didn't succeed.
No.
So after all these snafus have been going on this week, Bieber wanted to set the record straight to his 35 million Twitter fans. So he wrote a lengthy note on Twitter. I don't know how this works, because I always thought it was just 140 characters.
People, they have like a running like dialogue. It just keeps continuing. They just keep tweeting tweet after tweet after tweet, which defeats the entire purpose of the 140 character limit.
Well, here's what Bieber said. Rumors, and more rumors. Nothing more, nothing less. Might talk about them one day. Right now I'm just going to be positive. Can't bring me down. I'm focused on the good things in life. I'm blessed and not forgetting it. I'm giving back every day for it. Can't faze me. Fake stories to sell papers, I guess, are part of the job. But I'm a good person. I know that. You can't tell me different. We know the truth. As long as my family, friends, and fans are with me, you can say whatever. We are all equal in God's eyes, and we have a responsibility to each other. So make up stories about fake fines, and make no mention of the positive. Or say when I came out of my show with my shirt off because after performing for 2 hours I might be sweaty, I was going into a club. Really? Or any girl I stand next to is my girl, or that I don't care, or that I don't feel, or that a 19-year-old going to a club in Europe is wild? I understand it's part of the job to be judged, but judge me on facts. Judge me on the music, and be careful of the judgment you pass. But know this, I'm only judged by one power, and I serve him. So yeah, I will continue being me. I will continue to serve, to perform, to care, to love, to smile, to dance, to play, to sing. And you are welcome to join, because I carry no hate. We got too much love for that. I'm about the music. I'm going to enjoy the day and keep smiling. So should all of you. Much love. I see you, believers. I love you.
What are these rumors he's talking about?
I don't know. I don't even care anymore.
I think, I'll say this about Justin Bieber. I think what we think about him, I don't feel like we think anything about him that is based on rumors.
No.
It's based on just like
pretty
photos
much
and video evidence.
Of him doing what he does.
Listening to the music. Yeah. I think that's what many people are judging you on.
He's fine. He made like $55 million last year or something. He's nothing to worry about. Fair. Speaking of making money, apparently Taylor Swift made more money in 2012 than Brad Pitt and Anne Hathaway combined.
That doesn't surprise me.
This is from Us Magazine. Taylor Swift has been the butt of a lot of jokes recently, but it turns out that she's the one laughing. All the way to the bank, that is. According to Parade Magazine's annual What People Earn issue, the 23-year-old I Knew You Were Trouble singer made an estimated $57 million in 2012, more than Brad Pitt and Anne Hathaway combined. I can't really think of any songs she does. I'm sure I've heard songs she's done.
I think she dates people.
She dates people like John Mayer, and then she writes songs about them breaking up.
Revenge songs about them, and people eat that up.
I don't... This is one of those instances where I feel so disconnected from the popular culture. I have nothing to do with her. I mean, not on a personal level, but just on a personal level. As an entertainer... her music does not intrude upon my life in any way, and it's hard for me to imagine that she makes so much money doing this. But
that's the thing. But I mean, she appeals to legions of like 14-year-old girls. And there are a lot of those running around.
Even
and
my little brother, like,
oh really?
I don't know if he buys her albums or anything, but
sorry, Zach.
That's okay.
But I mean, and they're all into it, and they all have a certain amount of disposable income, and it all goes to her, so she can make tons of money.
Here's another kind of weird story. Paris Jackson joins cheerleading squad.
Do you know who Paris Jackson is?
It's Michael Jackson's daughter.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Who doesn't look anything like him.
Oh, what are you implying?
She is white. Okay.
No. Don't be. What are you talking about?
Listen to me. This is what's so ridiculous to me is that everyone just goes along with this. Even though he looked like a white person at the end of his life, he is genetically black. Well, I guess you're not allowed to say that because there's no such thing as races or anything. But he's ethnically was black. When he was a child, he was black. And he was black. Dark black. He was black. He might have looked white later. Depending on what you look like does not make your sperm change and take on those genetic identity. Like, if I were to tan excessively and end up looking like a Puerto Rican or something, my kids would not come out looking half Puerto Rican. They would still look half white. His daughter is as pale as... She's more pale than me. And I'm white. And I'm very white. We're looking at a picture of her now in her... cute little cheerleader outfit for Buckley High School.
Check how old she is first before you say that.
She's probably like 16 or something like that. She goes to
cut this out.
She goes to an exclusive celebrity high school called Buckley, and now she's joined
exclusive celebrity high school.
Well, I don't know if it's only celebrities. And now she's joined the cheerleading squad, and there's a little picture of her with her pom poms.
14-year-old daughter.
Is she 14? Oh shit, she's in high school.
That's 14-year-olds go to high school.
Oh yeah, I guess. Okay. Well, she looks older than 14.
I don't know. She looks younger than 14 to me, you dirty pervert.
Shut up.
Hands off Michael Jackson's daughter.
All right. Last story. Hawaii Senate passes the Steven Tyler Act. There's pictures. He just looks like such a fucking douchebag. Steven Tyler was the victim of some paparazzi last year. I think he was on vacation in Hawaii. He was in some weird bongo circle, beating a bongo, wearing these little Speedos, and all the photographers just got right in there on his boys.
They'll do that.
And as he was bongoing, they were sort of bongoing themselves and dancing around everywhere. And so on TMZ and stuff, they were like, pointing to his junk dancing around in these pictures. He took exception to that, and he is, I guess, as far as I know, celebrities can't submit bills for adoption into state houses, but I guess he had somebody sponsor a bill or something, basically making it would make it a civil violation if people take unwanted photos or videos of others in their private moments. Now, I don't know what private moments means. I don't know if that means on private property. I don't know if it means if they're in public, but they're doing something private, like shimmying their testicles
vague,
around.
Doesn't it?
It does seem vague. I think that they should pass laws saying that you're not allowed to profit from taking pictures of people. Because if you're out and about, anyone can take a picture of you if they want. But what they shouldn't be able to do is put you on TMZ and have sponsors and make money off of showing your likeness on TMZ without your permission, without you getting any of a kickback from it.
But this creates the interesting problem of how would you ever report the news?
News is different because, okay, let's say...
You need the courts to actually decide what was news and what wasn't.
I guess. But then, you know, if they do those man-on-the-street interviews like Jay Leno or something...
Yeah.
And he gets somebody on camera and they say something ridiculous, they have to sign a release to allow their likeness to be shown on television.
Because they're not public figures. They're
not public figures. But also, if you're, I don't know, if you're a famous celebrity, you get paid $5 million for your likeness to be used in a perfume ad campaign. But then people can shove cameras in your face, take your picture and sell that for $5 million to TMZ. Well, not $5 million, but like, I don't know.
$500.
If you're like J-Lo's baby and if you're the baby.
If you're a J-Lo's baby and you have a little camera, you're taking pictures of all J-Lo's friends.
And you jump out of a shrub and take a picture of J-Lo's baby, you can sell that for $1 million. It's the likeness. I don't know. It's a weird thing. It doesn't seem right that they should be able to profit by harassing people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think that most people that are involved in these celebrity type incidents like it.
Just don't take pictures of Steven Tyler's balls anymore, people.
If Steven Tyler doesn't want his balls, have pictures taken of them.
Speedo and a bongo.
And don't be like a disgusting waste of life that Steven Tyler is.
Look at him, Warren.
Steven Tyler's music sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Steven Tyler, isn't it?
Love it, love it.
You're not a fan?
Dude looks like a lady. Come on, really? He's the Bieber of his time.
That was a very prophetic song for him, actually.
Yeah, he's like, I'm headed that direction.
The dude looks like
I'm going
to
tell you what's going to happen in the future. This dude's going to look like a lady.
All right, that's enough time for the Celebrity Minute on the Warren and Bradley Show.
This has been Celebrity Minute on the Warren and Bradley Show. They wander the streets, scavenging for loose change and discarded cigarette butts.
Spare $1
And give me a motherfucking cigarette.
I ran out of gas ways back. I got any meth?
You smoke weed, don't you?
Good boozing and cut.
I could use some change.
They may be mentally unstable and deserving of our charity, but that doesn't mean they can't be selected as the Warren and Bradley Show Street Freak of the Week.
All right, I think this is a first on Street Freak of the Week on the Warren and Bradley Show. Warren, you said that you had an encounter with a homeless person. Tell us about it.
I think the person may have been a freak. They might not have been from the street.
Well, we had established before that Street Freak of the Week doesn't mean they have to be homeless, but you had to have encountered them out on the street.
Okay.
Or, in public.
So I'm leaving my work the other night, and the way I was leaving, I enter into the lobby of the office building I work in, and it was late at night, and I open the door, and I step outside. I see behind me a giant figure, like just standing in this lobby. It's completely abandoned.
A giant
and I
what?
jump a figure. What do you think I said? Oh, well, this is interesting. It was an African American.
Because you said figure, and I'm used to figure.
Figure.
Okay.
A figure.
Figure. All right.
Standing behind me.
Yeah.
Tall African American man with a huge afro.
Really?
Yeah. Wearing,
a natural.
Yeah, wearing like some sort of like hip hop garb. Like, I mean, he could have been. It looked like somebody was about to perform in like a '90s rap video. He had the whole thing going on.
Run DMC.
And I was like, and he was like, hey, and I was like, yeah, what's going on? What can I do for you? And he's like, I heard there was like a dispensary around here, and I was like, oh yeah,
is he looking for methadone or something?
Well, there's a pharmacy in the building.
Marijuana.
You got it. There's a pharmacy in the building. So I was like, there's a pharmacy over there if you want to go inside. And he's like, that's like a pharmacy. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I heard it was on the second floor. And I was like, the elevator's right there. And he's like, but is it in there? And I was like, I don't know. What are you looking for? And he's like, marijuana.
Yeah,
and I was
legal
like,
now. He doesn't have to
what's the
hide.
thing? I was like, I don't think anyone's giving out marijuana in this office building at like 6:45 at night. But it's possible.
Yeah.
And then he kind of followed me out. I was kind of talking to him about it, and I just walked away. And I don't know how he was operating. Like, someone mentioned to him the fact that there was a building somewhere where he could maybe get marijuana, and he just like wandered over there.
Yeah, what was his plan? You would think he would want more specific information before just going wandering about and randomly asking strangers if they knew where the marijuana dispensary was. Do you think there's been an influx of urban youth from perhaps California or other areas who've heard that now marijuana has been legalized in Washington, so they're all flocking up here?
Okay, a normal person, a person that wasn't constantly high on marijuana, would understand that would be a poor idea to do that. To move, 1,000 miles away to go to a place because of a law that passed about something you could get anyways in California rather easily.
I don't think they have much problem getting it.
No. And I mean, they've had dispensaries in California for years.
That's true.
Even if you don't want to purchase it.
Well, that's
illegally.
why the fact that he said dispensary made me think California, because he
was a black guy, because we don't have any black guys around here.
No. They're few and far between.
They all come from California.
Or Tacoma. All right. Well, I have a little street freak encounter that happened to me last week, and I forgot to mention on the show. I, again, was coming out into my parking lot from the building, and my truck was parked out there. Two guys had taken the tailgate, opened the tailgate, and we're sitting on the tailgate, drinking beer and smoking cigarettes, sitting on the back of my truck. I had installed a bed rug bed liner in the back of my truck.
Oh, yeah, you did that at my house.
Oh, yes. It's a very comfortable, foam-backed kind of indoor-outdoor carpety, like plastic carpet
You're just
that you put over.
inviting
It makes it
people.
very comfortable.
Yeah.
And so now I'm worried that maybe every night there are homeless people that just bunk out in the back of my truck. I don't know if that's the case. As long as I don't see any evidence of it, I'm fine. They're probably urinating all over
Well, like
the thing.
if there was a homeless guy who was like, this truck is very comfortable in the back and slept there every night, but was out of there before you went to work in the morning, and as long as he cleaned up his mess, you wouldn't mind,
if he didn't
right?
soil himself or do anything nasty. But these guys were sitting there. It was early in the morning. It was like 7 in the morning, and they were drinking beer and smoking on the tailgate of my truck. So I walk out. They see me, and I'm like, okay, here we go. What are you guys up to? Just hanging out. Yeah, I can see that. Whose truck is this? Oh, it's our truck. Okay, so I'm exiting the building. The truck is parked in the parking lot of the building. You would think that they would assume that anyone asking them about the truck would at least know who the truck's owner was or would be the owner themselves. But they decided that they were going to claim to be the owners. I'm like, okay, here we go with this. Let's see how long they'll keep this up.
You're going to have a fight with them about this?
No, I'm not going to have a fight. I just wanted to see how long they were going to try to keep up this charade. So I'm like, oh, that's your truck, huh? Oh, yeah. You guys don't live in the building, though, do you? No, we don't live. And it's one main dude who's talking the most.
Yeah.
There's one guy with this grizzled beard and kind of had his stocking cap pulled way too far over. Kind of like Mushmouth from Fat Albert.
Oh, yeah.
The other guy, he was just kind of out of it. The main guy was talking, why is it parked in the parking lot? You're not supposed to park here if you don't live in the building. I'm going to go to the music store. And he points across the street. There's a music store across the street. Doesn't open till 10 o'clock, obviously. Like,
oh, that's right. The porn store is a music store now.
Yeah. Used to be a porn store. Now it's a music store.
Yeah. Bumtown.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so you just parked here 3 hours early to try to beat the rush to the music store, which never has any business.
Yeah.
We're just parked here, just sitting there. I'm like, well, you guys are going to have to leave. You're going to have to.
Whoa.
You're going to have to go. You can't park here in this parking lot. Okay. Okay.
Oh, then he's thinking about he's got to pretend like he's going to drive away.
Well, this is me being an asshole, I guess. But I just wanted to do this.
I like the idea of these guys being. Remember the old ads for Mervyn's where the woman will be waiting to get in, open. These guys are so eager to get in the music store in the morning. They're parked outside drinking.
Well, obviously they're not completely in their right mind.
No.
But so I'm like, okay, well, I guess you better drive away. And so the other one, he nudges his friend. They get off the tailgate. They close the tailgate. His friend goes to one side to the passenger side and kind of looking at the other guy. He starts fishing around in his pocket, and I'm trying not to laugh at this point. And finally, he's like, "Oh, shit! Oh, my keys are locked inside." And I went, "Oh, damn it." Are they in the ignition?
That's pretty quick thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, are they in the ignition? That's too bad. How are you? Oh, we're going to have to call a locksmith and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, yeah, they're inside. And I'm like, well, let me take a look. Because I used to have a truck like this, and I know how to, I've been able to break into them before. I look at it, I don't see the keys in there anywhere. I don't see them on the seat. I don't see them in the ignition. No, they're right there. And he's pointing in the window vaguely.
Yeah.
I don't see them. I don't see them. No, they're in there. Oh, damn it. Oh, we're going to have to go call a locksmith. I'm like, well, you know what? I have a key for a truck, and maybe it will fit this truck.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
So I pull my set of keys out. Now, at this point, wouldn't you say the jig is up, and I'm just going to leave?
The great thing about this scenario is that this guy is committed to
He's
doing
really
things as you. This is usually something that you would do.
I know.
But it's like a battle of wills between
what
two
does
people.
He care? He's a homeless guy drinking beer on the back of somebody's truck. He's used to people being like, "Get the fuck out of here," and he just just walks away.
But he's really committed to this
He's
lie.
really committed to this, and so I pull my keys out. I unlock the door. I'm like, "Well, there you go. Now you can leave." And then I was worried. I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. What if they actually get in my truck?" But he looks in. He's like, "Okay." Oh, and then he's just standing there like, well, I unlocked it for you. You can get your keys and you can leave now. And his friend, who hadn't really said anything, was like, I need to go to the store. And he just took off.
Yeah, that's a move. That's smart.
Took off.
Yeah.
So he was left alone with me. Finally, he looks at me and I go, this isn't your truck, is it? He goes, no. Do you think it might be mine? And he went, oh. I went, yes. And then he walked away.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an excellent one. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So, 2 contenders there. The dispensary searching African-American Afro man. And the 2 chuckleheads.
We're definitely going to go with your two boneheads.
All right. Okay.
My African American was more of more startled me.
Yeah. Well, it was a weird encounter.
It was a very weird encounter to be in an empty office building and have some guy with an afro looking for marijuana in like the middle of the night.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right. So congratulations, Heckle and Jekyll, sitting on the back of my pickup truck, very committed to lying to somebody who is obviously the owner of the truck. You've been selected as the Street Freaks of the Week.
Congratulations.
Our hats are off to you, Mr. Homeless Man, because you've been selected as the Warren and Bradley Show Street Freak of the Week. They say things that don't make any sense. And then they do things that make even less sense than the things they said that didn't make any sense. Oh, they want you to buy them fancy jewels. But when you give it to them, they say you're a fool. Whoa, 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 whoa. 'Cause that's how women are.
Okay, so as Warren and I were sitting around trying to discuss what we were going to do for our next segment, we just started getting into this whole conversation. So this is a impromptu, that's how women are.
Yeah.
This was not planned, but we started talking about the nesting instinct in women. And it's very interesting. It's something that's been talked about before. And for the most part, I think it's of benefit, the fact that a woman will see a space that she lives in, and she wants to make it as comfortable and desirable and as nice as it possibly can be. As a man, I'm probably a little bit more aesthetically motivated than most men are. Warren always calls me gay all the time because I care about
constantly
fashion, and I like, I like furniture and things like that, but it's not high on my priority list.
I am a particularly Spartan person. I would prefer to own nothing and live in a room with no like ornamentation and just sleep on like some hay.
And this can cause conflicts in relationships sometimes, because for most men, they would be perfectly content sleeping on a nest of rags or, a comforter or something on the ground. They might have a cardboard box as a coffee table.
Yeah.
They would have a giant television. They'd probably have, an Xbox or a computer. And the things that they actually use for entertainment, we're into gadgets, electronics, things like that.
I'm into having things that I use.
Right.
Like
and
something
you want
that
the
actually
best
serves a
thing that you
purpose.
use.
Yeah. I want something good that I can use.
Right. And that makes perfect sense to me as a man. I don't care really what my couch looks like that much, as long as I can sit on it and it doesn't hurt me when I'm sitting on it. As we were talking off the air, I had this whole conflict with an ex-girlfriend about a couch once.
Yeah.
We were living in Los Angeles. We had an apartment. The apartment was fine, whatever. I put some paintings up on the wall, like drawings I had done and stuff like that. And that was I was like, okay, it looks good.
Yeah,
there we go. We're done. First of all, we needed a mirror. We needed a mirror, according to her. We already had a mirror in the bathroom. Like, all right, I can see myself.
This mirror will be fine.
That's fine. And she already had a full-length mirror in the bedroom, but we needed, apparently, a giant gilt frame mirror for the living room.
Uh-huh.
And this wasn't something like I would like a mirror in the living room. We need a mirror in the living room. So there was this huge ordeal of her looking for this mirror, trying to find this mirror, going to all these antique stores. She finally found the mirror, and it broke. Once she put it up on the wall, it crashed down. I don't know why she needed the mirror. We needed a new couch. We had a perfectly fine couch. It wasn't ugly. It wasn't uncomfortable.
Didn't smell bad.
Didn't smell bad. It was a couch. But we needed a new couch. Again, she became obsessed with this. I was hardly making any money. I was paying for my half of the bills, but did not have extra money to spend on a couch. It's like, we don't need a couch. I'm fine with this. No, we need this couch. So then she said that she would buy the couch. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, I said, well, then you're going to resent the fact that I didn't help pay for this couch. No. I want this couch, so I'll buy this couch. And then, of course, the first time we have a fight, well, I bought the couch. I'm like, I didn't even want the couch to begin with. I don't care about the couch. So to me, I think it comes from a good place. And I often talk about the fact that the ways in which men and women are different are usually complementary and are usually good. Like, that's why we match up well. It makes sense that there's like this biological difference that informs our psyche and the way we think about things. And not everybody does adhere to these. But women want to create a space, but where does it go to the point where it gets into like psychosis or delusion or starts hurting the relationship? I mean, what situations have you had where have you ever had this actually cause a major rift, or are you just so easygoing that you don't really care? That's my approach to situations like this, to be like, do what you need to do, right? As long as I don't have to get dragged into a lot of stuff. I mean, it's like my approach to things like that is to be like, okay, I'll do some of these things sometimes to appease, whether it's like females in my family or somebody I'm dating. I'll be like, I'll do this a little bit, but I'm not going to do it all the time. Men do a lot of appeasing. I don't know if women appreciate how much appeasing we do. It's mostly appeasing. Yeah. So if it were left to you, you would probably never, ever buy a knick-knack or a bric-a-brac and put it in your apartment. So where would it get to the point, let's say you and your girlfriend were to move in together or something, and you're setting up your household. If she started, I mean, she probably has better taste than this, but what if she were to just start buying all these miniature lighthouse placards? Like I went into a house once that was just covered in little wooden cutout lighthouses that this woman had just placed all over the wall. That's not uncommon that they get into things like that, right? No. So is there a point where you put your foot down and say no more bric-a-brac, no more knick-a-knack, no more lighthouses, no more weird little dolls or like strange candelabra that you're throwing everywhere, or statues of cheetahs? The way I approach it is, as long as I don't have to like go to the lighthouse picture store and spend hours there looking at lighthouses that all look the same and decide on which ones to buy, or as long as I can still walk in and out of my space. But you wouldn't mind living in an apartment where there were thousands of paintings of koalas all over the walls, for instance? I'm pretty tolerant. You wouldn't care. See, because I have a problem because I actually have an opinion on it. So if we were setting up a household, I would be like, well, I like this color, I like this couch, I like this furniture. Oh yeah, that wouldn't be a problem. I'm not as adamant about it as the woman would be, probably, but I definitely do have an opinion. And if a chick started putting up a bunch of pictures of like whales and dolphins cavorting everywhere, I would not be into that, and I would have it might cause conflict. Because I think most men do just let the woman... You go into a married couple's house, and it's filled with doilies and weird, crystal everywhere. Obviously, the guy did not buy any of these things, and he doesn't give a shit what's in the house. I would give a shit. Really? Yeah. That's hard. It is. Because I think that's the way we do things in our society, is we just end up deferring. Well, the woman gets the house. The woman controls the house. The man gets a room, hopefully like a shed or a garage or something that he can like go to and do actual things. Like create something or But throughout history, men have been very active in the arts, in interior design, in furniture making, and things like this. In interior design. Well, men were the architects. Men were, and it was because things were dominated by men at the time. But I know that men still are the architects. But I know that men do have an aesthetic eye. Is it just that it's been beaten out of us recently or something? I would say that's probably true. It's just a matter of like... path of least resistance. Yes. Yeah. And I know, just speaking for myself, that like there are things in life... I like my life to be simple. I like to be able to focus on things I'm interested in. I just don't want to have a fight about the koalas. And I don't want to spend my weekends looking for searching koalas through like swap meets for koala pictures, bickering with like people at swap meets for them, putting them up in rooms and obsessing about it. It seems really unpleasant to me. What I hate is shit that I don't need. Yes. You know what freaks me out? The chances of this happening are probably 0 to none. But if I were to ever get married, the idea of the wedding list, where there's all this bullshit, salad spinners and all this crap for the kitchen that you never fucking need and never fucking use. And that's just the shit that people will buy you, because the woman goes, oh, we're going to go look through the Macy's catalog and I'm going to check all these things that we need in our apartment or our house. I would go insane having all this shit around. You look at my kitchen. Granted, I'm not cooking every day or anything, but I have a couple bowls. I have a few forks. I have the things you need.
Yeah.
I have a can opener. You need a can opener.
But the thing is, if you bring something new in,
yeah,
you specifically bring it in because you're going to use it. Like the French press.
Right.
You use your French press.
Every day.
I have a French press now. I use it.
Yeah.
If I had like a big clunky coffee making thing around that I never used,
I would get rid of it.
I'd be like, get out of here. You're in my way.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to be here. Where for some reason I don't know if it's a consumerist thing or if it's like you need to have a crock pot.
It plays into that nesting instinct. You need a lemon zester. You need one of those weird...
A melon baller.
Yeah, melon baller. You need one of those weird things that you put the egg in and like chop it. Even though you could just use a knife and chop it up.
How often are you chopping the eggs up anyways?
I don't know.
Why does it need a special tool?
It's weird.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this a lot lately, actually. Just about, in general, about... I got rid of some stuff today, actually. Mm-hmm. The girlfriend went to the Goodwill before I came over here, and she took some chairs over there. And I was like, oh, I got some books. You can take those. And I got rid of stuff. And I was throwing some stuff away earlier this week, too. And I was like, I enjoy getting rid of stuff way more than I do like getting new things.
I feel real good about it.
And I'm like, look at that empty space that I'm not tripping over something. Yeah. It's so nice. It's a clean, empty space.
If I ever move, there's nothing more satisfying than just going through and saying, I don't need this entire box of shit. I can get rid of this entire box of things. I don't want anything in my apartment that I don't need or don't use.
Doesn't that feel liberating?
It does.
But I feel that way in life just generally with relationships with people or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It's the idea that metaphorically having things like dragging on you.
Yeah.
Having like stresses or like people that are always pulling at you and that you just can't just relax and go for a walk and not worry about things. You can't walk around your house without tripping over a bunch of shit.
Well, it's like you go in the bathroom and there's one of those fuzzy things on the toilet seat. There's like, I have a bath mat because I'm going to be bare feet standing in the bathroom. I have a towel. I have the things I need. I don't need extraneous decorations. I don't mind aesthetically having things that are just there for the purpose of being beautiful.
Yeah.
But I don't consider a ribbon candy dish sitting on a doily beautiful.
No.
I just think of that as clutter.
Yeah.
And therein lies the difference, I think.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it?
Obsessed with useless bric-a-brac and making their home up, and that's how women are?
I guess, but
I guess they kind of need to be because they have to offset us.
But I'm beginning to think that the way I'm operating as a human being is the opposite of the way a lot of other people are operating.
Yeah, I think we both are.
And that we're trying to like, rather than trying to keep grabbing more things and expanding the field, I'm trying to like simplify things and narrow things down and make them more peaceful and tranquil. That's just an odd dynamic.
Well, I've always thought you'd end up being a hermit at some point, living in a hole in the ground.
Yeah. And I'd probably be happier there. Probably my little hole, and I have my little pot, and I make my soup in my pot, and I'd be like, this is great.
That's what Warren's like.
Yeah, they like to put pretty purple panties on. And then they turn around and tell you that every little bit of thing you've ever done is always wrong. Well, they like to cry when they stub their little toe. But no, they don't cry when they tell you to go. No. Yeah, that's how women are. Yeah, I'm talking about how women are. Whoa, women are. Yeah, women are. That's how women are.
I think that's enough time for the Warren and Bradley Show this week. I've been one of your hosts, Bradley Victor.
I'm the other host, Warren Band.
Saying,
live in a hole.
This has been the Warren and Bradley Show, brought to you by Warren Van and Bradley Victor. For podcast news and information, like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/Warren and Bradley. Follow the show on Twitter at Warren and Brad. Subscribe on iTunes and leave a review. For episode archives and episode pictures, go to warrenandbradley.com, and to contact the show, write to podcast at warrenandbradley.com.
Does he have like a popped collar and like spiky hair?
Well, I mean, I guess I did it once too, but so maybe he looks like me. But yeah, he would look like kind of the guy who has the very carefully trimmed sideburns and maybe like a little tiny thin beard that goes around and like the little goatee. His eyebrows have been waxed. You know, he's the kind of guy who takes too much care.
And his car is really important to him.
Yeah.
He really takes really good care of it. Yeah.
And he likes a smooth scrotum, and so do the women apparently.
So this guy just looked more like a normal guy.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy that wears like North Face fleeces and things like that.
That's a normal guy, right?
Yeah. So you'd think if he's wearing a fleece on his torso, he would want a fleece on his testicles.
I guess we've gotten to the point with the manscaping that it's like the normals are doing it now, right?
I guess
it's conventional to do it, and it's going to get to the point where people that aren't removing the hair from their balls, people are going to be like, "What's your deal? What are you doing?
Yeah, what the fuck is your problem?" As a woman, well, if I were a woman. I don't want to say
as a woman. Yeah. That's a weird way to start a sentence.
I have another conversation that we're going to need to have after the show. If I were a woman and I was, rooting around down there, I think I'd prefer nice smooth balls to the hairy, like weird, because the balls are disgusting.
Well, this is the thing though. If you were a woman, are you rooting around with the balls?
Don't they? My balls have been rooted around with before. I mean, they're not.
I'll say that mine have too, but I don't. It's not like the most common.
So I look at the back of it, and it's a depilatory cream for your balls.
This seems perfect for you. It's like God speaking to you. You don't have to risk putting a razor down there anymore. You can just start rubbing that on your balls.
I thought you couldn't do that on your balls. Like you couldn't put Nair or anything down there because it would burn them off or something. But apparently this is the soothing, cool...
Why do you... Well, I think that's why it's probably designed, especially for that ball skin.
I don't know. As I know a lot of men do the manscaping thing, and we've talked about this before, and even I was saying that I had shaved my testicles once and found it amusing.
You did say that, yeah.
But the idea of like... specifically manufacturing a product, there's obviously enough of a customer base of men who like smooth scrotums that they have actually formulated a specifically non-irritating solution for you to put on your testicles.
Oh, it's the triumph of capitalism. Yeah. People see a niche in the market and they go right for it. How old was this guy?
I don't know.
So you're telling the story about him walking around with these bags. I pictured an old man with glasses, but then you mentioned this like...
No, he's probably in his late 20s, early 30s or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I hope so.
He didn't look like a bare balls kind of guy.
Well, it's creepier. It's creepier if it's an older man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You don't want to see like a 52-year-old with clean testicles because they shouldn't be in rotation enough that he would need to keep them clean.
He's so worried about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something disturbing about that.
But this guy just looked like kind of... He doesn't look like the kind of guy who would clean his testicles of hair or
what
his
does that guy
chest
look like, dude? That they get on they get in a van and they take him to the grocery store like once a week, and that's like their big trip. Yeah, it's their big trip for the entire week, and they get to socialize with their friends with dementia on this bus, and they get off and they wander around and they try to herd them back into this bus and take them back. It's like, wow, what a time that is, And if you don't get that, it's very depressing.
And it is funny how that is true. It's like I've been institutionalized, and just a little trip to go get a bagel to me is a big event.
Yeah.
It's something to do,
Yeah.
I get to see other people. I get to maybe interact with them. I mean, it's usually disturbing when I interact with them, but
you
it's
could
still
have a bad interaction with a small child and get yelled at by its parent. Yeah.
But it's still something. It's something more than what I have now.
Oh boy, this is too bad.
I had an awkward interaction the other day though, because leaving my building, going out into the parking lot in the back, there was a guy who I recognized from around the building, but I had never spoken to him or anything. He was getting out of his car with all these paper bags, like grocery bags, but I think they were from like a Walgreens or something like that. And as he got out, something fell out of one of his bags, and he didn't notice it.
Yeah.
And he went inside, and he was coming in the door just as I was going out, and I was like gonna say something, but then I just went out and looked at what the thing was that dropped out of the grocery bag.
Yeah.
And he had already gone in by this point. It's a bottle that says Balls Balm on it.
Oh.
It's like Balls Balm. What is this? This is like balm for your balls?
I know about butt paste. I don't know about balls balm.
You'll have to tell me about butt paste in a minute.
I was in a pretty deep sleep, and I woke up and looked at the time, and I was like, what?
So you had some sort of weird mental...
I was like, I slept that late?
Wait a minute. It's an hour later, and you woke up?
And then I woke up, and I was thinking about it, and then it occurred to me what happened. It took me like 10 seconds to figure it out, though.
Well, then it fucked me up this morning because even though my phone automatically switches and pretty much everything that I look at to tell the time automatically switches, I still have my old 70s wood-grained alarm clock on my bedside table. So I woke up this morning at one point and I looked, it was like 9 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock according to my clock radio. It was actually 10 o'clock, but I didn't realize that I hadn't switched the radio, and so then I was like, oh, I've only had 4 hours of sleep, so I'm going to let myself go back to bed. Whereas I actually had 5 hours of sleep, which is enough, and I could have just gotten up then.
But you were still tired?
Well, I could sleep, you know.
Well, if you're still tired, you should just go back to sleep.
Yeah, but then I woke up at like noon by my clock radio, which meant that it was 1 in real life, and it just fucked up my entire day. I didn't get to go have my bagel.
Oh, man.
I probably would have had a street freak encounter,
well,
but
what are we going to talk about in this podcast? Usually just talk about you getting a bagel. That's usually half of the content of the podcast.
That's the only thing that happens in my life. Yeah. I go to work during the day and nothing really happens at work because I'm working alone most of the time, other than me just being miserable and getting rained on and things like that. But the only socialization I have, the only interaction with other human beings occurs when I go downtown and go and get a bagel and then stand on the street corner afterwards.
It reminds me of like shut-ins or like elderly people that live in a nursing home.
The views expressed on the Warren and Bradley Show are not necessarily those held by the hosts, Warren and Bradley, nor those of the proprietors of the website, warrenandbradley.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Let's make some magic.
It is magic time. Hello, and welcome once again to the Warren and Bradley Show. I am one of your hosts, Bradley Victor.
I'm the other host, Warren Van.
Episode 67 of the Warren and Bradley Show, coming at you from daylight savings time.
Ooh, the future.
Didn't we, last time we sprang or fell back, I was bitching about daylight savings, and I've had the same thing today. It caught me unaware, well, kind of unaware, because I was actually awake when it happened, and I got to have that horrible sinking feeling of seeing my phone go from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. I was in a situation that was kind of interminable, and I knew that it was probably go on for even longer, and so I was imagining having to stay up till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was really depressing.
That's a bummer.
And I just wish we would get rid of the stupid daylight savings thing.
I was sleeping, and